Hello once again, my people. It is I, DIDN, and welcome back to my burning heart. It's been a minute. I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say. It's been a minute, and I'm sorry. Let's just say that this new job that I currently have is an experience. We're gonna cut it off right there before I go into Rant City. People that know, you know, girl. And if you want to know, I don't know, slide into my DMs on Twitter, Vita Spinoza, I don't know, do it. So anyways, last episode, we were just kind of like dancing around for the Sultan, and then we did a little bit of naughty. I think the dancing was the episode before, but we did a little bit of naughty. And now Halim is teaching Adnan how to read, because Adnan can't read, he's illiterate, Pit, never learned how to read. So yeah, we're just gonna get this started. They started the reading lessons the next day in the slow hours after lunch when the other boys were usually lounging in the shady areas of the garden. Halim had brought a thin book with pictures. I gotta like adjust this so in that way it's not like ruining so in that way I can actually like type and actually like click on things. Also, she's a little nasty. Do you like how I decorated my wall? I'm gonna put my persona pictures right there, and you're not gonna be able to stop me. He placed it in Adnan's hands with a smile, and Adnan flipped the pages with an amused expression.
What's this? A children's book? How is it that you have it, Halim?
Because children's books are great for learning how to read. Period. Do not judge. Do not judge. I'm gonna smack your face, boy. The slave giggled.
It's a secret.
Girl, what kind of secret? Adnan arched his eyebrow in disbelief.
Oh, come on.
All right, I'll tell you.
Yes, tell me please, Miss Ma'am.
My mother works in the kitchen. I asked her to borrow this book from the female harem, where the children's room is.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Wait, so why? So your mom is accepting of you, like, sleeping around everywhere, especially with the Sultan? Did she put you up to this? Did she put you up to the sexual acts of a deviant man? I'm not sure, but we're gonna find out. A children's room? Is there one in the palace? Adnan thought, surprised.
Huh. Didn't you tell me your mother was also a harem slave? Or am I recalling it wrong?
That shows how long I have not played this game, because I asked myself that too.
No, you're right. She used to work in a harem, but she was transferred here some years ago, when I stopped being a little kid and it was inconvenient to have me living in a female harem.
Oh, okay. When she was too old to compete with the younger harem slave's beauty, basically. Adnan thought, but said nothing. He didn't want to upset Halim saying unkind things.
Our previous master is a distant relative of the Sultan. My mother has worked in the kitchen since we arrived.
Listen, work me in that kitchen, I can cook some good-ass food, bitch, period. Even though I won't get paid for it. I would rather get paid for it. But if I have to do a little bit of, bitch, put me in the male harem and put me in the kitchen, period. Let me cook you up some pizza, boy. And you were sent to the male harem to learn how to satisfy the Sultan. Again, Adnan remained silent, but he felt disgusted and sickened at the thought.
Wait. So the Sultan and you are in fact relatives?
Wait, what?
I guess so. Very, very distant relatives, though.
Insert Sweet Home Alabama here. Girl, no! Bye!
Oh, Adnan, please, don't judge His Majesty so harshly. He's doing what the custom is in these countries. He's a good person and has always treated me kindly.
I'm shook. Honestly, I'm shook. A bitch is quaking.
I've heard some stories from guys who come from other harems. Believe me, we are very lucky.
Adnan's stomach still churned, but he had heard stories too. In the slaves market, tales of what happened sometimes in brothels or how some noblemen like to rape and torture their slaves. I mean, see, this is the reason why I've heard this game got like a little bit of controversy from like, you know, people that I was... Like, I told people being like, oh, I'm probably gonna play like a Burning Heart, you know, when I was still living in my old place. And people were like, what? Excuse me? And I'm like, what? What about it? It just seemed like a little controversial. And I'm like, oh, now I can see why it's controversial. But if we're taking in the time period and what countries they're in, like, that's what they used to do. I can't rewrite history, bitch. We don't have a time travel machine. He remembered his first night with the Sultan, his kindness and how he focused on giving Adnan pleasure. It could have been very, very different, painful, and scary. The man still saw them as sex toys, whose only reason to be alive was to serve him and pleasure him. But yes, in a certain way, Halim was right.
Yes. We are lucky. It would be foolish to deny it.
Let's start with the book, alright? This is the one they used to teach their first letters to kids, so it should be useful.
And then Adnan's gonna be like, fuck this book! I'm kidding! He's gonna be great, and he's gonna... Is my window still... Oh, no, it's not, because... We found out that there is a wasp nest growing right next to my window! I'm keeping that shit closed. Adnan nodded and tried to focus on Halim's lesson. Around half an hour later, the two of them raised their heads from the book at hearing the familiar noise of the guards changing shifts outside of the harem's window. Adnan mentally noted down the time. The guards usually had a 4-hour shift and climbed down the crow's nest, and a group of fresh guards replaced them for the next 4 hours. One of them looked in the direction and waved to Halim with a wide smile. The man motioned Halim to go out to the room to meet him.
Oh, do you mind if I leave for a moment? Please, keep practicing on your own. I'll return in a minute.
Halim? Whoa, well, Halim. Girl, you want to talk about what that is? You want to talk about what that is, bitch? Adnan had noticed before the friendly way the guard spoke to Halim. He watched their interaction from the window with great interest. It was short, as Halim had promised. The guard unwrapped something and offered it to Halim, who offered the gift with obvious delight. They exchanged some sentences, which Adnan couldn't hear from the room, and then they parted ways. I was like, what the fuck is in my pocket? And then I realized that I was just a whore, and I'm just carrying a condom in the back of my pocket because I've been going to a gay bar recently to decompress after work. And they just have it just being like, grab one. And I'm like, yes, please. So I got a pile. A pile, bitch.
Adnan, look! It's a goat cheese! His family sent him some cheeses from their farm, and he wanted to give me
Okay,
one.
that's cute, though. Okay, that's cute. Shut up. That's cute. That was more friendly than Adnan had expected.
Are you that close to him?
Halim giggled, pleased, and made a gesture trying to play it down.
Not really, but I'm in good terms with most of the guards, yes. They are always very kind with me and often give me small presents, like this cheese.
Wow, getting good with the guards, honey. Nice. Period. Work it, bitch. Adnan figured out the situation and rolled his eyes.
Halim, they are courting you.
Well, shut up. He doesn't need to know that.
What? No, of course not.
They don't have access to the female harem. You told me that yourself. So
nothing. Oh, please, Adnan. Why would they be interested in me?
Because you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you look like Linda Evangelista, you're a model.
You're perfect, you're beautiful, you look like Linda Evangelista, you're a model.
I have that as a sound on Twitch now. I have yet to use it because it's like one of the ones that you use bits for, so like you have to pay for it. It's only 5 bits though, because I'm a cheap whore, except for 2 of them, which is the fucking Uwu song and the fucking Taco Bell Base Boost, which are both 100 bits. But I don't have to get into Twitch world right now. This is YouTube world. Hi guys, I missed you. Because you're pretty, because you're a really nice person. Ooh. Do I wanna be a bitch and say because you're pretty.
Isn't it obvious? You are really
That's not the way that I thought that you were gonna word that, but sure. Halim was previously blushing, but Adnan's words made him cast his gaze down and turned red up to his earlobes.
And look the way we are dressed for Allah's sake. We look like girls without boobs, so we're the second best thing that can woo in this palace.
With a forecast of very hard nipples.
And a 50% chance of very hard nipples.
Fucking Trixie Mattel.
Oh, do you think so?
He looks somber now, as if though the thought hadn't crossed his mind before. It was so obvious for Adnan. Again, that palace's customs were sickening. They went back to reading the book, but Adnan's mind was busy thinking about how to use that new knowledge against the guards for his escape plan. So I chose the wrong one, but it's fine. I wanted to be a bitch. The bell violently jangled, interrupting for a moment the murmur of conversations of the slaves who were resting in the common room at that time.
That's His Majesty's office. He's still working at this late hour?
Probably he's a busy bitch. I don't know.
He's making the most of the time until dinner, so he might want tea or a cold drink.
Wasim gave them a knowing smile and stood up, ignoring Adnan, who was already walking to the door.
I bet what he needs is another kind of break. I'll go.
Shut up! You're such an asshole.
No, let me attend the call.
Wasim raised an eyebrow and looked at Adnan from head to toe, with a scornful little grin.
You? How come? Do you think the last one to join the harem is worthy of entertaining our Sultan?
Yeah, because he thinks that I'm gorgeous and beautiful, and obviously I can work that motherfucking body, bitch. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do?
Ugh, of course I am.
One of the other boys, Kadin, giggled and stood up by Wasim's side.
His Majesty might be more or less satisfied with you in bed, but that alone doesn't make you as good as us.
Alright, mean girls, I hear you.
Guys, leave Adnan alone. That's enough.
Oh, please, stop defending him. You are surely aware of how clumsy he is.
Adnan felt bitter bile fill his mouth, hearing how they talked about him as if he wasn't right there hearing every word.
He's doing fine. Let Adnan attend to the call. You know His Majesty likes him well enough.
You sure? How many times has he slept with Adnan so far? 2?
What does sleeping have to do with it? Are you slut-shaming? Bitch, I don't think so. Goodbye.
That doesn't exactly make you a favorite, Adnan.
Wasim and Kadin smirked, while the other boys averted their eyes to avoid any confrontation, being it with Wasim and Kadin or with Halim.
Ugh, it's okay. Go and serve your precious Sultan. See if I care.
He was suddenly tired of feeling constantly judged and criticized. He'd had enough. He could sense Halim's pity gaze on him, but he didn't care anymore. Wasim left to attend the call and the idle conversation started again.
Are you alright? Don't let them get to you.
Adnan ignored his friend and sat down in his previous spot, trying hard to stop sulking. What the hell do I mind if I'm the favorite or not? They can fight among themselves till death for the Sultan's love, for all I care. And it was true. He didn't intend to keep living there for long. He didn't need those guys' approval at all. Soon he'll be free as a bird again, free to roam the streets or travel through the desert if he wanted, and everything in the palace would be insignificant as it should be. So those mean, spiteful guys could keep their damn Sultan for themselves. He wouldn't miss them or even remember them when he was gone. He ready to fight, he ready to get out of here, he ready to escape, and you know what? I'm here for it. The only person from this stupid palace he would miss would be Halim. Adnan turned his face to look at him at last. The poor guy was staring at him with worry. Halim was a decent person, maybe the only decent human being in that palace, and Adnan felt bad for worrying him.
I'm fine, Halim. Sorry for bothering you.
You're never a bother, Adnan. I'm the one who should apologize. The way the other boys treat you is So awful.
Which is why I want them destroyed and obliterated.
Not your fault. You're helping me a lot. I'm really grateful. I don't know what I would do without you.
Oh, adorable. Fuck him. I need to stop.
You should explain to His Majesty about how the boys treat you. I'm sure he will tell them off.
Adnan hesitated for a short moment.
No. I should be able to earn their respect by myself. If I can't, well then it's just my fault.
Halim pulled a face, obviously disagreeing.
Look, I'm not used to asking for favors or special treatment. Most of my life I've survived on my own, and my intention is to keep doing so. Oh, come on, don't pout. I don't want your pity, Halim.
Oh, poor big bad what you don't go. Shut up.
I'm not pitying you. In fact, I think you are really strong.
Oh, thank you. You are the ocean's great waves.
But it's unfair that they treat you this way after how much you've gone through already. Perhaps if they knew.
Adnan raised a hand, frowning, and cut him off.
I'm pretty sure they can imagine what I've gone through. So leave it, please.
Halim bit his lower lip with a sad face.
All right. Just ask me for help every time you need it. Please. You deserve a better life. And here in the palace, you can have it.
I'm still technically a slave, though, Beach. I don't want that. Adnan nearly smirked. Sure, a nice life as a harem slave. Oh, innerly smirked. That's what it's supposed to say. That wasn't his idea of a better life, thank you very much. But since he didn't want to further upset Halim, he changed topics and suggested joining the dinner preparations. I love how there's like, there's no real true transition. It's just like, boop, you're here. And now, boop, you're here. And I'm like, wow. Honestly, snaps. Snaps all around, sister. The next day, Adnan was using his free moments between tasks to practice his reading skills, which were still almost non-existent. He had been sitting on the fountain for 15 minutes already, trying to decipher the text of a children's book, and he was starting to feel an oncoming headache. Ugh, this is so difficult, he thought. He wondered how people could actually enjoy reading. Bitch, me too! The fuck? It took him ages to link together the letters and understand what word they formed, let alone what a full sentence meant. So the enjoyment he could extract from the act of reading was lower than 0. It required so much concentration that he didn't notice the sound of the steps approaching him until it was too late, and the person coming closer was already by his side. Hello!
Well, hello!
How are you doing? Ow, my foot. Oh, for those of you who don't know, I kind of fucked up my foot a little bit. Kind of fucked up my feet, I should say. I've just been working so much. I'm not going to say what I do, or I probably have already said what I do, but I'm not going to say where I work and out myself. But I've been working 74 hours in 1 week and basically 50 hours a week for like the past month. So my feet are kind of fucked, which is why I haven't been uploading. Hi. Adnan almost dropped the book out of fright.
Have I startled you? Sorry.
Oh, Your Majesty!
Adnan bowed his head in respect. His book lay on his lap, completely forgotten.
Oh, what do you have there? Isn't that a children's book?
Mortified, Adnan hid the book behind his back, feeling dumb and cursing his bad luck. Oh no. Why did he have to see it?
Is it a tales book?
Was it? Adnan wasn't even sure. As far as he knew, the book had only had isolated sentences and very short texts for reading practice. He found himself unable to improvise a lie, which was unusual in him. But the penetrating gaze of the Sultan, so focused on him, was unsettling. He couldn't think while being stared at like that.
Or are you maybe learning to read? That would be the other option.
That is the other option, you are correct.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's just...
You're bitch, you're flushed. Just say it is. Adnan pressed his lips together with uneasiness, while he tried to think quickly of something to say. But the Sultan surprised him once more, stepping closer to him. So close, in fact, that Adnan could suddenly feel his warmth in his breath. Bitch, nobody better be coming into my room, and I hope that that's from my headphones.
More importantly, why haven't you visited me even once these past few days?
I tried to the other day, and then the other assholes were like, bitch, nah. The Sultan's hand reached forward, one starting to card through Adnan's long hair, and the other closing around his hip bone.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been able to visit the male harem much in the evenings, but I've called for tea quite a lot during the day.
The hand on his hip dragged Adnan's gown up before slowly running over his torso, caressing his side and stopping on his shoulder blades.
I hoped you would answer the call and visit me.
Bitch, I tried to, and then they were like, girl, bye, we got this. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck the other assholes. Are you gonna tell them off? You better tell them off. I really hope you tell them off. Adnan, this is your moment to tell them the fuck off. I want it. The Sultan's voice was low and velvety, and it sounded too close for Adnan's peace of mind. He placed his hand flat on the Sultan's chest, a gesture that unfortunately seemed closer to a loving caress than a rejection even to Adnan's eyes.
I couldn't. I'm sorry.
Why? Didn't you want to see me? The two of us alone?
Cállate tu pinche boca, weón. Ya sí, pero no puedo, weón. Los niños están muy emocionados. Se dice, you're not good enough. So, like, yo no puedo. Yo no puedo. Yo no puedo hacer sexo para ti. I hate that I got so passionate that I just, like, Spanish everywhere. Rashid leaned in and his lips brushed Adnan's neck. Weón, cállate. Calm down, making the young shaved slave shudder. Adnan was too conscious of the way that the Sultan was now kneading his thigh, thumbing up his flesh until he was barely centimeters away from his crotch. Girl, you're gonna have to calm me down. You're gonna have to calm me down. Yo necesito agua, por favor. Fuck. I have some right here.
Your Majesty.
Hi.
Won't you answer me? I felt so lonely without you.
Rashid still had an arm around his middle, embracing him and leaving no place to run away. If Adnan wanted to refuse his advances, the only option was literally pushing him off, which became more and more difficult the more that hand stroked his inner thighs and pushed his legs apart. The spread eagle!
The spread eagle!
Adnan's rational mind melted when the Sultan started sucking in his neck. Oh crap, this is bad. Say something, come on! That was all his mind could provide. The Sultan suddenly moved away, grabbing Adnan's chin and looking him in the eye.
So, why didn't you visit me? Do I disgust you so much?
No, you don't disgust me. You don't disgust me. You're hot. But the other boys were like, you're not worthy. Furiously blushing, Adnan tried to find his words, which wasn't easy right then. He was embarrassed and aroused in equal parts.
No, Your Majesty.
Then?
Rashid seemed less turned on and more angry now. Adnan reminded himself he should be careful not to anger the man or oppose him. He had the impression that the Sultan could be a dangerous person when crossed. Adnan remembered Halim's advice then. He didn't want to complain about the other harem boys, but he didn't need to give names, right? And he wasn't able to think of anything else to say in that very moment anyways.
I'm sorry, but...
The Sultan's hand closed around Adnan's manhood, stroking it with his thumb, and then the boy gasped in surprise. Do you want to turn me on, or do you want to scare me? Well, actually, I guess scaring can become a way of turning somebody on, if given the right circumstances. So I guess it's either or, but I don't know if Adnan's like that, though.
The other boys in the harem.
Yes. What's wrong with them?
Girl, while you're fucking stroking me like that bitch, you better fucking not. His other hand pushed the translucent fabric that more or less covered Adnan's chest out of the way and rubbed his right nipple. A shiver of pleasure ran down Adnan's spine, and he noticed the way his heartbeats quickened.
They don't let me answer the calls.
Why not?
Because I'm the new one and they don't trust me. Rashid straightened up and forcefully made Adnan turn, bending him over the fountain's leg. Are you gonna really take him right here, right now?
Your Majesty.
Oh my fucking god. But the Sultan was too busy burying his face in the slave's deep, dark hair, and his hands under the thin layer of fabric that half covered the boy's body.
Are they jealous of you?
They might be.
I guess. I don't know.
He didn't even know what he was saying by then, too conscious of the way that Rashid's hand ran over his skin. Soon there was a finger pressed against his entrance. Did you like the way that I decorated my table? Girl, I cannot have this. I am literally 4 minutes away from ending. Can you just like not real quick? If it ends in that kind of scene, I'm doing it full. I'm doing a full face cam, so in that way, I don't get demonetized. All right, let's go. He made an half-hearted effort to wriggle out of the Sultan's hands.
Please don't run away from me. I want you so much.
Then bury me. I'm a monster. The boy felt conflicted, but stopped struggling. He was aroused, his member already hard and his back sweaty with anticipation, but they were in the middle of the palace, in an open space where everybody could see them. Rashid obviously didn't mind being watched, but it was so weird for Adnan. Two saliva-covered fingers made it up Adnan's ass. YouTube, I promise I'm a good boy. Oh my god. I'm forcing their way inside his body. It was slightly unpleasant, but Adnan spread his legs wide open and tried to relax his sphincter and slow down his breathing. If it gets any farther, I'm doing a full face cam, and I'm cutting the episode short.
Adnan, don't mind what the other slaves say. I want you to come see me. I was dying to fuck you again. I can't wait anymore.
Period. I'm going in there. I'm getting in there and I'm getting my pussy slammed. He positioned his member against Adnan's barely dilated hole and pushed it. I can't! Adnan felt it when the head of Rashid's skull penetrated the ring of muscles in his ass. It was uncomfortable, but part of him wanted it all in already. It would feel so good. His body remembered it like too well. So when Rashid thrusted his hips onwards, pushing his dick halfway inside of Adnan, the slave pushed back, taking more than in. The stretching feeling was welcomed. Girl, I can't. It made him shudder in pleasure and moan like a bitch in heat. You know who's a bitch in heat? Me. I haven't seen my boyfriend in months. And I'm starting to get that way. Period. Maybe I'm in heat and that's why I like this so much, he thought, shaking his hips in sync with Rashid's thrust. Ooh.
Yes. You're amazing. My gorgeous, sexy Adnan.
In the middle of goddamn daylight. He mumbled unfinished, senseless praises in Adnan's ear, biting the earlobe and kissing his sweaty shoulder while fucking him. YouTube, I promise I'm a good boy, okay? Let me have this video. Nothing's being shown. Let me have this video. I'm trying to make it as funny as I can. Fast and deeply.
Tell me you'll come to me. Will you, Adnan?
Yes, I will. His words were punctuated with hard shoves of his hips, smacking the slave's buttocks with a meaty sound. See, I thought I thought he had just, like, smacked him across the face and I was gonna be like, oh. That's a little too far right now.
Yes, I will. Yes, Your Majesty.
Adnan felt his orgasm building up and desperately started rolling his hips and leaning down further into the fountain, trying to take in more of the Sultan. Girl, he said heat. Rashid increased his pace really close himself. Calm down. YouTube, I promise, I'm a good boy. He gripped Adnan's hips harshly and lifted him from the ledge, pressing the boy's buttocks against his abdomen. Adnan lost his footing and almost fell into the water. But Rashid, I wanted to see that. I want to see artwork of that. Rashid held him too closely to allow that. Instead, Adnan balanced his forearms on the ledge and let the Sultan hold his lower body into the air. Girl! Rashid started moving Adnan's hips against his pelvis, wrapping his member in his lover's warmth with each thrust. And soon letting himself go, reaching his peak amidst suffocating gasps. That... I'm having chills. I'm literally having goosebumps, bitch. Then, while still riding his orgasm, he reached around to vigorously pump Adnan, who failed to stifle his scream of ecstasy. His mind too wrapped up in his own pleasure. Did you come in the water? Did you come in the water? Bitch, that's gonna ruin the pH levels. He only remembered where they were a moment later, when the cloud of pleasure subsided and the Sultan let go of his legs, placing them again on the ground. Adnan sat again on the ledge before his knees gave out, and then covered his face, ashamed.
Ugh. I didn't want to do it here.
You know what? That's a good place to end it. Actually, know what? No. I'm gonna do what I... Never mind. No, I'm gonna do it until I get to a new scene. Fuck it. The rich, low laugh of the Sultan caressed his ears.
I apologize. I'll try to find a private place from now on. I promise.
You better promise, girl, but I'm glad that you had fun. Adnan sighed and glanced up at him. The man was standing up in front of him, straightening down his clothes and looked tired, but content. He leaned in and kissed Adnan's lips softly before turning to leave. The boy rushed to clean himself with the fountain's water before someone saw him. At least his outfit was easy to tie it up. Again, you're going to mess up the pH levels of the fountain. You're disgusting.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, yes? Adnan turned to look at Rashid again, who had stopped just before leaving the garden and was looking at Adnan with fondness.
Keep practicing with that book, will you?
It better not be in the water. He left before Adnan could react or find a lie to say. Okay, now I'm gonna stop it. YouTube, give me this fucking video. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Veed. I hope that you had a wonderful time watching this, and I hope that you had a wonderful time watching me experience whatever the fuck this was. Make sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe buttons down below. You know how to follow YouTuber out. Make sure to hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any of my uploads, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.